against Ben Wilson, and we're going to have trouble already.
I think what happened is an icing call. Usually you don't find two players going in and really taking a body check on the other player when he's back touching the puck. They'll try and go back as quickly as possible and force the puck to their play, try and get at the play. This time, Mulvey just came in and disregarded the puck and took Ben Wilson into the boards. Mulvey ended up on the back of his back on the ice. That's when Wilson really got upset, jumped on him. And we're going to have the first confrontation. It'll be with Ben Wilson of the Flyers and Paul Mulvey of the Capitals. Again, it was an icing call by Washington. They iced the puck. Wilson and Mulvey both raced back for it. Wilson got there first, but Mulvey really took him into the boards, and Wilson really took exception to that.
Bob, any question of boarding on that play by Mulvey?
Well, again, boarding is one of those calls that is very discretionary, Gene, because the referee, but they're both going back. Boarding, when it's written in the rule book, says if you take more than 3 strides to hit a player, is charging, or if you hit him from 3 feet out from the boards, into the boards, it's a board.
Ben Wilson still perturbed. As he goes to the player bench, will pick up the penalties. Hang on here as Mulvey wants to make a charge again at center ice against Ben Wilson, and this thing is yet to cool. And Mulvey is just whipping his way, trying to fight past linesman Bob Hodges to get at Ben Wilson. Now Wilson is trying his best to get through Ron Floyd, and they come together.
Well, what's happened is that Hodges cannot hold. And now Floyd, now they let him go. Now they're going to go out of Mulvey and Wilson. Mulvey and Wilson are really shooting the puck, but Wilson's ended up on top of Mulvey now. Both linesmen were really caught in the middle as those two big fellows were going at each other. Mulvey stands 6'4", goes 220. Ben Wilson's around 6'3", he goes about 210. And those two linesmen, Hodges and Foyt, just could not contain the two players, and they just went at it. They went over top of the linesmen, as a fact, to get at each other, and they're now on the ice as they're being separated. But you would expect Washington to come out, as Joe Watson's game report to Pat Quinn before the Capitals came in to play the Flyers said that they really like to play rough at home. They run a lot at home. And they've started out here in the first 28 seconds of the game.
Now, Bob, it happened just 5 seconds after the play came out of the Flyers zone, and I said it appeared obvious that the Caps were out to hit.
Well, they are, and I'll tell you, Gene, I think what happens is that Wilson and Mulvey better calm down, or they could be gone for the whole game. Everybody's all milling around, got a hold of each other right in front of the penalty box. Foyt, one of the linesmen, has Mulvey way down in the corner of Washington's zone to Stevenson's right. And Hodges has a hold of Ben Wilson right at the penalty box where the Flyers will be serving penalties.
Well, they showed this kind of activity, Bob, on Tuesday as Holmgren and Picard went at it for roughing, Gardner and DuPont for fighting, Bridgman and Picard for roughing. It was Wilson and Holmgren for high sticking, and Mulvey and McIllargy for fighting midway through the third period.
I think the Flyers were expecting something like this, but not so quickly. 28 seconds.
Well, now having the same problem behind the Cap net to our left, as trying the best he can is Ron Foyt to hold off Mulvey, but that's an unequal battle. And the same as Hodges in the far corner with Ben Wilson, and now Ron Hogarth says enough is enough. And now he's ordering them out of the rink, and any disobeying of that directive could result in serious punishment.